Hello, welcome everybody. How are you? Fine? Last class, you remember I told you about the epigraph and we were trying to explain that. Anybody has any doubts? Any suggestions that you want to make? Any original ideas? Everything is welcome. Okay? Anything else? Nothing? Okay. You think over it again and let us see some new things will come up or not. Okay. Alright, in that case we pass on to the next item, that is the dedication. Dedication of how T.S. Eliot has dedicated, why T.S. Eliot has dedicated this poem to Ezra Pound. 1921-22, this period, the two poets, Ezra Pound, as you know, is one of the pioneers of modernist movement in literature, and both these authors, both these poets were in constant contact with each other about this poem. So we can see that the poem in its original form and the poem in its present form, you will find the difference, and the dedication part, one single line that T.S. Eliot has taken from Dante's Divine Comedy, the section called the Purgatorio or the Purgatory, and the line is, of course it is written in Latin. Il means the il miglior fabbro, that is the Il miglior fabbro, Latin. This line is taken from, just now I told you, from the Divine Comedy written by Dante, and the line, the immediate context is that Dante goes to Purgatory with the help of, guided by Virgil, the Roman poet, and then there he sees the Provencal poets Onward Daniel, A-R-N-A-U-T, Onward Daniel. It's not Arnold Daniel, Onward Daniel. This is Onward Daniel. And Dante lavishes praise on him by saying that Il miglior fabbro, means compared to me, that is Dante, you are a greater poet. You are a greater craftsman. So that is the context. So fabbro here means craftsman. The root meaning is fabbro means smith. So in this case it is wordsmith. So Dante calls him a wordsmith. Why does Dante call him a wordsmith? Because he invented a new form of poetry that is called sestina. Sestina means 6 stanzas, each stanza containing 6 lines. That is sestina. 6 stanzas altogether. The structure has got 6 stanzas, and each stanza contains 6 lines, unrhymed but with intricate word repetitions. So Dante was very fond of this poet, Onward Daniel, the Provencal poet. Petrarch was very fond of this poet, and also in modern times Ezra Pound was very fond of, or he was influenced, so to say, by this poet. That is one of the reasons maybe why he has chosen this particular line used by Dante for praising the Provencal poet Onward Daniel. Now fabbro means craftsman or maker, or you have seen aluminum fabrication, isn't it? Fabrics equal textile, fabrics, isn't it? Or you can see making fabricated evidence. Sometimes you have come across such expressions. Fabricated evidence means evidence made. So this is craftsman. Miglior comes from the Latin word magnus. Magnus means great. So miglior means greater, the greater, and il means the. That is the definite article. The greater craftsman. The greater craftsman, that is the translation, the greater craftsman. I hope you understand. Who says these words to whom? Dante, when he sees in the purgatory, onward Daniel, the provengal poet, he says to him, the great, you are the great, you are greater than me. So in this case, why did T.S. Eliot call Estrapon il miglior fabulo? Or why did he dedicate this line of dedication? Why did he write the beginning of the poem? First, the first part we have seen the epigraph, and we also say that the epigraph mirrors the mood of the entire poem. Last I told you, yes, we discussed word by word, and also we discussed the roots of these words and how this meaning, as I told you, I saw with my own eyes the Sibyl of Cumae hanging in a cage, and when the children saw her and asked her, Sibyl, what do you want? And she answered, I want to die. So that is the mood. So the epitaph mirrors the mood of the entire poem. Then immediately after that comes a praise, the word of praise, that is, il miglior fabulo, that is, you are the greater craftsman, or you are the greater poet. That is, Dante is writing about the provengal poet onward Daniel. Now, in the case of, in this context of the baseline, why does T.S. Eliot write these words? Or why has he chosen this particular line for praising Estrapon, his friend and his guide, so to say? For Dante, his guide was Virgil, a great Roman poet. For T.S. Eliot, his guide is another great poet in modern times, that is Estrapon. And what did he do? What was his contribution that he made to the wasteland, as you see it in its present form? There are two aspects. One is that you should remember that this poem in its original form had about 100 plus lines. Sorry, 100, not 1000, sorry. 1000 plus lines, 1000 odd lines. See, we are reading like this now, April is the cruelest month. Just before that, there was a long descriptive account of a party in a Boston pub. But that, Estrapon said, that you won't do it, you will just, the focus of the poem will be shifted, and therefore you remove it. So his surgical knife, so to say, just a surgical strike, that is the, up to that point, that is April is the cruelest month, up to that point, he just removed that. And then continuing, keeping the focus of the poem, that he said, in the fourth section, there was a, that is death by water, there was a long section, there was a description of the voyage made by Ulysses, that also he said he removed. So, the 1000 plus lines now has been reduced to 434 lines, you can see. 434 lines, this is because of the editorial work. The brilliant editorial work done by Estrapon. This is one reason he has chosen to take this line and quote this line and use it in praise of the editorial work done by, as a gratitude to Estrapon for the editorial work done by him. 1000 odd lines, now it is 400 compact, it's a compact poem. And second reason is, the original title of this poem was, He Do the Police in Different Voices. The original title was this. I hope you understand this now. First, Dante praises provengal poet or onward Daniel, and that is now being quoted by T.S. Eliot for praising Estrapon to express his gratitude for his editorial work, his brilliant editorial work. And then secondly, the title. The title of the poem, originally it was, He Do the Police. He Do the Police in different voices. In different voices. This is taken from, this is the working title of the poem. And this is taken from Charles Dickens' novel, the last completed novel, Our Mutual Friend. That is the title of the novel. Our Mutual Friend. Our Mutual Friend. Now in this there are two characters. One is Betty Higden and Sloppy. Sloppy, his habit is reading the newspaper to Betty Higden. So she does not know how to read, but he will read it. When he reads, he imitates different people. If the policeman's news he is reading, he will read like a policeman. If he is reading the news about an old man, he will read like that. So multiplicity of voices. Therefore, he thought in the poem we can see you will find multiplicity of voices in the wasteland. So probably it's because of that he might have chosen this title, working title, He Do the Police in Different Voices. So this is a quotation taken from Our Mutual Friend, written by Charles Dickens, his last novel. There are two characters. One is Betty Higden. She cannot read, but she enjoys when somebody reads the newspaper. And then Sloppy reads the newspaper for her, and she enjoys it because he imitates the voices of those people about whom the newspaper reports. So it's very interesting to listen to. Therefore, she says it is her statement, it is her remark that he do the police, he may Sloppy do the police in different voices. So these are the two reasons why the T.S. Eliot has praised the editorial work done by and suggestions for the title also. So these are the two main reasons why T.S. Eliot has praised his poet, his friend and poet, that is the modernist, the pioneer, one of the pioneers of modernist movement in English literature, Ezra Pound. By writing this line, the dedication, he'll make Leo fabulous. That means, just as Dandy praises Arnold Daniel, here T.S. Eliot praises Ezra Pound. Dandy praises Arnold Daniel for his ability in constructing certain poetic forms, like for example Sestina, intricate word repetitions and so on. So same way here, and he is led by Virgil, the Roman poet, and here T.S. Eliot is led by or guided by Ezra Pound, and also he has made good editorial work, brilliant work for helping T.S. Eliot to cut the poem into size with a focus that is in 1,000+ lines has been reduced to just 434 lines, and also the title. The title, He Do the Police in Different Voices, maybe at the instance of, on the advice of Ezra Pound, he changed it to the wasteland. Now about the title, that's also very interesting to see. The title is at once a physical reality as well as a symbol. So just two aspects. One is, it is a physical reality. What I mean by physical reality is, you find the geographical area here. Say it is England, coastal England, or it can be coastal Europe. See, and you can see that. That is the area, devastated area you can see. Death, decay, degeneration and devastation. That's what you find. So in the poem is a heap of broken images. I'll show you fear in a handful of dust. Son of man, you cannot say or guess. That's what it is. Son of man means addressing a son of man, you cannot say or guess. See, because you can only see the sun beating. There is the tree. That tree gives no shade. The cricket no relief. Then the dry stone, no sound of water. Only shadow under this red rock. See that? Coming under the shadow of the red rock. Why red rock? There are many interpretations for red rock, but I think that whether you agree or not, I think that it is because under the scorching sun, this probably a rock might have turned red. I don't know whether my suggestion is correct or not. You can have your opinion or come up with your original ideas. I always welcome that. I told you, yes. So, such a place, heap of broken images you find. All maimed characters, all physically and mentally challenged characters. That's what you find here. See the second section, you have got a procession of ladies, all physically challenged or mentally challenged, isn't it? Yes. So, the same way you find physical reality. Already I told you what is the physical reality. And the second is, it's a symbol. It's a symbol for what? It's a symbol for any place in the world. It can be the mind of a person, or it can be the minds of a group of persons, or it can be a place where you have got some people living together, anything, where there is death, decay and devastation, degeneration, and also a spiritual thirst for redemption. So that is what you see in the wasteland. Maimed fisher king has to be redeemed. Yes. There is the ritual. The ritual is what is called, there is the gods, they bury the gods or throw the gods images, the effigies of the gods in the river Nile, and then when it is spring season, they retrieve it. Or if you bury it also, you do the same thing, you bring it back. That's the kind of ritual. And for the title you can see, T.S. Eliot himself said that I am indebted to J.C. Weston's From Rituals to Romance, anthropological work From Rituals to Romance. The title he is indebted to one, Weston's From Ritual to Romance, and then there is another book. Second is Thomas Mallory's Mort d'Arthur. Thomas Mallory's Mort d'Arthur. Mallory's Mort d'Arthur. And the third poem, there's a poem with the same title without the definite article. The title is Wasteland. This is a poem written by an American poet. Wasteland. The name of the poet is Madison Coyne. Madison Coyne. C-W-V-I-N. Coyne. Madison, sorry, there's no space there. Madison Coyne. So the title of the poem itself is Coyne's poem. The title is Wasteland without the definite article. But here, of course, there is a definite article. So he is indebted to three books. Weston's book From Rituals to Weston. You see Weston's book From Ritual to Romance is an anthropological work. Thomas Mallory's Mort d'Arthur. Mort d'Arthur is again, as you can see, that quest for the Grail, Holy Grail. Quest for the Holy Grail. Questing night. So the same thing you will find here also in this poem also. You find the need for a questing night to the land has lost its fertility because the fisher king is maimed. Now the fisher king, you have to repair the fisher king, and he is now in ventilate. In the modern times, you can say ICU is an important place now. It is common substance. If you go to any hospital, straight away you will be taken to the ICU. So ICU has lost its importance of ventilator. So a land in ventilator, so that is decay, degeneration and death. Deathwish, all the people are deathwish, They say April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with the spring rain. How these people welcome spring season. When you compare this, you will see that later, when you compare this, how Chaucer's time, people welcome the spring season. One that April with the shooter, when one that April with the shooter means sweet showers. So that is, and the drought of March percent to the root, the drought of percent to the root, and Then the lines continue saying that spring season there is activity, people go around for a pilgrimage, and the small fowl making melody. That is, even the small birds, they don't sleep during the night, but they open their eyes and they go on singing. Virtu engendered is the flow. So, when that April with the shooter, the drought of March had pursued to the root, with the switch liquid, means sweet water, switch liquid, and of which Virtu engendered is the flow. So that is the attitude of Chaucer's England, people of Chaucer's England. So diametrically opposite attitude you will find a contrast. April is the coolest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire. They don't want memory, they don't want desire, see? And what is it? Completing that stanza, then you have got memory and the stirring dull roots with the spring rain. They welcome the winter season, now winter kept us warm, covering here the forgetful snow, feeding a little life with the dried tubers. Oh, we don't want, there's no awakening, we don't want any such awakening, that's what. So that kind of situation anywhere in the world, can be anywhere in the world, can be mental health person, a group of persons, or an area where people inhabitants of a particular area. Any of these things can be, those are a symbol for, the wasteland is a symbol for such a situation. The wasteland. A dilapidated gentleman is the wasteland. That a gentleman who has lost his vitality, say by continuously using drugs or alcohol or any other such addictions, wasteland. You can call it a wasteland, isn't it? Void only last me. See, that is empty and void. Empty. That person becomes empty. That is okay. So in that way you can see the title. The title is, for the title, T.S. Eliot is indebted to three works, three authors, so to say. You can see from Richard Romance by Jesse L. Weston, that he himself has acknowledged. But the title and much of the symbolism I have taken from Jesse L. Weston, that is an acknowledgement. Second is Thomas Mallory's Motley Arthur, where we have got the story of the questing knight going in search of the Holy Grail. And the third is Madison Coyne, a less known American poet, but already the title Wasteland. There's a poem written by Wasteland there. The cricket no relief, even that phrase is there in that poem. Just as you can see, T.S. Eliot uses now, that is, the dead tree gives no relief, the dead tree gives no shelter, and the cricket no relief. That cricket no relief, that you can see that phrase maybe boldly lifted from that poem. You cannot call it plagiarism, but that is what do you say in terms of the poetics of T.S. Eliot, that is tradition. He is following tradition. I already told you in this poem there are 60 quotations taken from 40 different authors already. So quotations and lines written by the original lines all mix and mingle together to create this so wonderful an edifice called the Wasteland, in which we are going to enter tomorrow. Yes, we'll continue this for some time. I expect to complete this by, say, it might take about, that's my what is called projection. That is about 20 hours or so, 20 classes. Already 2 are over. The first class we have already done, the epigraph, and the second one now we have done the dedication part. Now remember, this dedication began to appear only from 1923. 1922, when the poem was first published, there was no dedication. See, this lines was not there. But from 1923 onwards, this line began to appear, and it continues to appear even today. So I think that I have made this clear to you. That is, three things I told you today. One, Il Miglior Fabbro means the greater worksman or the greater poet. First used by Dante, praising the provengal poet Unwed Daniel when he met him in the purgatory, and he was led to the purgatory by the Roman poet Virgil. The second point I told you is that here in the present context of the wasteland, the guiding was done by Ezra Pound. Virgil there, Ezra Pound. And Ezra Pound, what he has done is he has edited this poem for his excellent work, editing work, for using his surgical knife like an MCH. You know what is the full form of MCH? MCH is Magister Chirurgy. You see, the person who can use chirurgy, of master of chirurgy, master of the knife. That's the meaning, MCH. So he is an MCH in that way. When he was using his knife for editing his knife here, pen, editing this long poem. That is about more than 1,000 lines. He has reduced to 434 lines. Especially this large scale cutting in part 1, Burial of the Dead. All those things that preceded the April is the cruelest month, that is a Boston description of a Boston party in a pub that was removed, and also in the fourth section the wages made by Ulysses. And then another thing is that his suggestion. He suggested that he do the policeman. His better suggestion, better title is The Wasteland. For these two reasons, T.S. Eliot praises Ezra Pound, and in praise of him, he wrote this line which he boldly lifted from Dante's Divine Comedy. Then I told you about the title. The title is at once physical reality and a symbol. Physical reality is post-war England or post-war Europe, and then the symbolic meaning is that is any place, dying place, any dying place. So the place and the people are dying, they are degenerative and decaying and death wish, all those things. Also, they have got a spiritual test for revival. Any such individual, it can be group, it can be an inhabitant of a particular place, whatever it is, you can say that is the wasteland, the wasteland. So, for the title, The Wasteland, the last point that I made is that T.S. Eliot indicted 2-3 works. One is the anthropological work by Jesse L. Weston, from Rituals, Romance. Second is Thomas Mallory's Le Morte d'Adam, and the third is this the poem titled Wasteland by Madison Coy. I think that you have understood what I have told you. If you have got any problems, come up tomorrow. Not only problems, I want you are a PG student, some of you are doing research, as I said in the last class. If you have any problem, you come up with that, or if you no problem, you have got any original ideas, please share with me, because I have always said, and I am so convinced that teaching and learning is a joint work. It is not a one-way traffic, but it is a two-way traffic, and it is give and take. And the giving sometimes by teacher, sometimes by students, the taking sometimes by teacher and sometimes by student. And therefore, please let us constructively think, put our head together, and let us tax our brain to find out what the classroom meaning of this poem. So I am not saying, why I am saying classroom meaning, because there is already an industry, a critique of criticism, industry of criticism, where this it has been discussed threadbare. That's why writing an analysis on T.S. Eliot's poem by Cleon Brook, he says, he begins it with an apology. He says that F.O. Mathew and F.R. Lewis, they have done such great work, and now adding something more to their work, and then he apologizes for that, and then he writes that essay in 4 parts. It's a good one, it's a very scholarly work. You must all go through that. If you have any fresh ideas, new ideas, I welcome you. Come up with your new ideas tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye.